What's going on? Disappointing popcorn coming back at you with another video. It's been a real long time since we did this, but we're back and we're excited. We're going to try to tackle a couple of these movies in this Oscar season that's coming out because it's going to be a good one, and I think it's going to be a really tight season. Sean, how are we doing today?
We're doing good, Connor. It's good to be back in the disappointing popcorn desk, as it were. It's been a really long time, but I'm glad to be back. It's good to talk movies.
Yeah, it's so funny because like I was looking trying to get access to all of our accounts and stuff the other day, and like the last time we did this stuff, it was like 4 years ago. But like this Oscar season is almost too good for us to not like do something for fun. Um,
Yeah.
so all right, we'll start off though. We have a good movie to start off this new era of disappointing popcorn, and it's Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. It's which I just found this out actually recently, based on a novel called Vineland by Thomas Pynchon, which I could be
Mhm.
pronouncing his name wrong. So
Mhm.
sorry
I think
about
you're right.
that, Tom. I think I'm right.
I think so. I think it's Pynchon. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right, cool. Sorry, Tom, if I'm incorrect. But
Yeah,
the
sorry,
score is
Tom.
by Johnny Greenwood, and cinematographer is Michael Bowman, featuring Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Chase Infinity, kind of like a big breakout for her here. Sean
Mhm.
Penn, of course, is in it. Just an incredible cast. So,
Yeah.
Sean, initial reactions, because I think you like this one a little bit more than I did. So, what were you thinking now, I guess, a couple days later, like initially leaving the theater and now a couple days later?
Yeah, I think it's one that you have to sort of sit with for a bit. And not that like it's necessarily like how do I say it, sort of like Sutherland's messaging or like that's very ambiguous because it's not like it kind of tells the story it wants to tell, but I feel like it's one that you have to sit with a while because like it is really unique. Like I can't really remember a movie that did what it did in recent memory in terms of just like it's hard to explain, but not like trying to necessarily hammer in necessarily a message or not trying to hammer it over your head, but also being like, hey, like we want to say something, but we also want to give you a really good time. We want to make a movie that's going to entertain you. It's going to let you escape for a couple hours, but also like, it'll have you thinking a bit about the, world you're in as well. And I think that's kind of like the best, films that we've ever had do that kind of thing. Yeah, no, you're sucked into it and you can't get out and you're in that theater for a couple hours and you're in that story, that world. But then you get out of it and then you're just left kind of reflecting on, the real world and what it means to you. And I feel like with one battle after another, it comes at a really interesting time in our world, and I feel like it doesn't give us really. I don't think it really gives us any answers, but I think there's a weird catharsis to that because like I feel like I feel like nowadays people really want answers, and I think like when a movie earlier this year, like we saw Eddington with Ari Aster. And I think Eddington was interesting because although it didn't necessarily pick a side over the other or was trying to hammer home, oh, this, I agree with this. What it was really doing was kind of a similar thing to what One Battle After Another did, where it's like kind of just presenting the reality of where we're at and sort of just shining a mirror onto it. And when they went into Eddington, I think because it was so like a bit exaggerated and uh, pretty on the nose with what it was like showing. I don't think the same applies to like the messaging. Like, I don't think he was necessarily on the nose of any messaging. I think the same applies here of like they both Ari Aster and PTA did a really good job, I think, of balancing it. Like, yeah, we're not gonna say nothing because how do you not have something to say about like what we're going through? But it's not being like condescending or like shitty about it, like to one side or the other. It's just like, nah, man, we're all going through it right now, and there's just all this chaos going on in the background. And I felt like one battle after another was trying to capture that feeling of like it feels like we're at such a like it feels like we're at a crossroads right now in our society, and like it what's interesting is I think one battle after another says like, yeah, we're going through all this shit, but like I found that there was this sort of like hopefulness too with it. Like there was this weird like not like again like forwardly like oh my God, you leave the theater like we're
Yeah.
gonna be okay. The
Yeah.
world's gonna be. No, you
No,
don't.
I get what you're
But
saying. Yeah.
you know what I mean? You kind of feel
Yeah.
like, you know what though? Like it's yeah, like
I think
there's always a battle for sure
yes, there is always one battle after another,
after another.
as they say.
Correct.
Roll
As they say.
credits. But
Roll it.
to me, it feels like, and I'm glad you brought up Eddington because that's like I think it is my favorite movie so far this year. Still over One Battle After
Mhm.
Another, which I really liked. And like, I do want to say, what I really liked One Battle a lot. Like, I thought it was very good, very well made. I think that's like kind of like my key takeaway from it was like it's just super well made. Like you
Yeah.
could just, it's like kind of, I don't even know if you'd say like it's just a feat in filmmaking. Like there's nothing really like groundbreaking per se in it, like
Mm.
cinematography wise, like story wise, anything like that. It's just like a super well made movie front to back, like cover to cover. It's just good stuff. Just great work by PTA. But just comparing that to Eddington, I feel like Eddington, they kind of do the same thing in like showing you stuff that's happening in the world right now and in society right now without like giving you a solution. But I think Eddington is more like this is the world we live in and it sucks and things are going to get worse. Whereas one battle after another is like, this is the world we live in. It sucks, but things are going to get better with every generation. Like every battle that comes, like we make ground, we make headway. Where like Eddington was more like, yeah, we're arguing and fighting over all of these trivial problems when like in reality there are larger issues like the whole AI factory at the end, which is like a
Mm.
huge like lingering like ghost phantom in the background of the film. So I think it's really cool actually that we got like two movies kind of like that are really like commentating on our time right now, or like at least like in the past like couple of years. Um,
Yeah.
so super cool. And I think yeah, it's just well done. Again, it's not like I think a lot of people came out of it and were like, this is the best film of the decade, which I don't agree with. I don't think like I didn't walk out of it, it was like, holy crap, like that was life changing. Where like I think I felt that way a little bit more after watching Oppenheimer, and that's more of a personal preference thing. And I will openly admit, I've said this so many times. I think I love Oppenheimer as much as I do because I saw it in 70 millimeter IMAX. I don't want to sound like a freaking
Mm.
film show and be like 70 mil, bro, is the way to see it. But like
Yeah.
I do think I liked it so much more because it was so visually stunning, like
Yeah.
just fascinating. But yeah, like I didn't walk out of it being like best film of the decade on this one, but I can acknowledge that this was just like tremendous filmmaking from PTA because it was very like relevant subject material. But still, like you said, it stayed like super entertaining and fun throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. It did a little bit of both, which I think is like a lot of the better, I think, some of the better sort of like social satires or social commentary films do. Like you can't just it can't be all satire or it can't be you know what I mean? Like there
Yeah,
has to be a balance because then it's not fun
yeah,
and you're not getting anything out of the experience and you don't want to feel like you're getting like lectured to.
right.
And no, you definitely don't get that here. This feels like and I think a lot of reviewers I think Chris Stuckman said it like specifically, but I think the movie gives this feeling of like this is the kind of movie that would come out in the 90s, early
Yeah, early
2000s, and I
2000s. Yeah,
totally get that because you really feel this freeness with the movie. Like there just was nothing holding him back. And the fact that he had a budget of whatever it was, 130 million or 50 million, whatever it was, uh it- like we need more of that shit. And so I just feel like this was like I think the reason why I think there were a lot of people that are like, holy shit, this is like masterpiece type shit is because it just feels so singular. It feels so like we just haven't had a movie that just felt this just pure in a way that just is like this is what it is, and I don't know. Like I really dig that. Like when I heard that in the reviews, I'm like, you know what? Fuck, that's what like I couldn't articulate the feeling it was giving me watching it. Like what is it like that? There's something about this that feels almost nostalgic in a way, and I think it is just that feeling of it. It just feels like something that wouldn't come out nowadays, which
yeah,
is really cool. And I think that's why it's connected with a lot of people, and it just feels different. And I think a lot of people are just craving movies like that. I mean, especially in the age where we're like copying and pasting, older movies and remaking them, and like almost
hmm
shot by shot.
hmm
It's like fucking awesome that we get something like this, and it's
yeah,
getting people to go to the theaters and to talk. and becoming a bit of a moment, which is cool. And I hope it sticks, around doing that. And I think it deserves to. Like, it's just a really good fucking movie.
Yeah, I think that's
Like,
just the best way to describe it. Like it's just
yeah,
really good. It's
the
just well made.
craft.
Yeah,
It's
the craft.
so well made that
Yeah.
like every aspect of it. Like there isn't really a flaw in that sense. Like the only thing I've heard people say in terms of like a common denominator is maybe like, oh, the beginning is a little whatever. Like I wasn't like in it as much or it took me a little bit. For me, it just, I was there. Because I didn't know what to expect going in. How would this movie start out? Like, only thing I knew going in was that, like, Tiana Taylor's character isn't in it for the whole thing. That's pretty much all I knew. So I was just like, all right, I'm interested in
Yeah.
how they're going to pace the story out, how they're going to structure it. And I think the way they did it was brilliant. I don't like that movie if they structured it a different way in terms of the timing and stuff like that. It just wouldn't work. For me, the way they did it, introducing these characters and the revolutionaries, and hit Leo's character with the daughter. I just like it couldn't have been done better, and it really just felt seamless. Like I don't even. I'm trying to think of a comparison, and I know it's not a good comparison, but I want to say it anyway. But like when I would play, and I finished it, but when I played God of War, the video game,
Mm.
there's this momentum from moment to moment. It's hard to explain, but just
Yeah.
like going from scene to scene that I felt with this movie, where it's weird because it wasn't like conventional, the pacing of it or the way it told the story, but it just, I don't know, it worked so damn well for me. And I think that's PTA. I think that's the editor,
Mm.
Andy Jurgensen. I think is his name.
Mm.
Like he will probably win the Oscar because like for a 3 hour long movie, sure as hell did not feel like that even remotely. Like I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it feels like a 2 hour 10, like 130
Oh,
man. It does
easily.
not feel its runtime at all, in my opinion, like at all. Like I remember going into the third act. And I'm like, man, like we're here, like we're
Mm.
building up, like this is it, this is the big
Yeah.
climax. Like, it's like, oh, like I could have sat in that theater for like 3 more hours and
Yeah.
just like I think we talked. I mentioned it after the movie of like that scene with Leo and Benicio del Toro when they're in the car right before,
Could
spoilers,
have had
but
20
right
more minutes in there.
before, it, dude, just that image and them just talking. I'm just like, I could sit here for hours, listen,
Yeah.
like watching this and listening to this. And that's when you kind of know when those kind of moments happen in the theater where you're watching a movie for the first time and you're just like, I don't want to leave. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to like I don't like I love this pocket I'm in right now. Fuck man, that's why we love this shit. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I really like that you mentioned you brought up the beginning because I think it can work for you. It doesn't because it's very montagey. Like it's like 20 minutes straight. I feel like of like a montage, which like I
Yep.
can see that not working for
Well
people.
said.
But when it does cut to Chase Infinity's character older, and it does the whole like 16 years later, it really makes that beginning like montage sequence feel like the beginning of a novel, like the introduction in
Mm,
a novel when you read through the first couple pages, and it's just like giving you the history, it's giving you all the information, so you can be like, okay, now we're hearing the story. And when they said 16 years later, now I'm like, okay, now I can reset like mentally, and it's like now I'm here. Now the story's really starting. Like all the shit
no.
before was really just like giving us the background on like why the events are going to occur in like the most condensed effective way possible, and I think it was really good. Like it worked for me. um yeah, it just made it have that novel feel, but I think you're right. I think it really breezes through. Like it's not a tough 3 hour watch, it's like a super easy one. But I think a lot of that too comes from like you mentioned the editing, which it honestly probably will win an Oscar for editing because it makes it not feel like it's going that fast. I think the performances too, which I want to talk about. Because like what jumps out to me off the page, I said this to you like as soon as the screen like went black, I was like, yeah, Sean Penn, kind of you could just kind of hand him the Oscar
Yeah, he
right
was
now
awesome.
because he was incredible. But I think that also Benicio del Toro also can't get lost too because he was incredible. And what I've really liked over these past like couple days since the movie came out is that so many people are hyping up Benicio's performance, especially the
Yeah.
scene when he's like just a couple beers or whatever. Like
Yeah.
everyone is like hyping that up, which is awesome. And yeah, it was really good. And I think we also, in terms of like supporting, we cannot lose sight of what Chase Infinity did because
Mm.
she was tasked to go in against an incredible group of co-stars and she crushed.
Yeah, she held her own for sure. I think Chase Finney was really awesome. I think she like Yeah, it's a tough year for the Oscars, but like that would be really cool to see her get recognized or to get some recognition throughout the award season because she was really she felt like the I don't know, she felt like she held it together, the movie in a way.
Yeah.
And especially the last moments where we're pretty much following her. I also I mean Tiana Taylor was like I heard hype going into the movie about her. And I was still interested because again, like that was the one thing I had heard was, oh, she's not in the movie too long, but when she's in it, she's really great. And yeah, she was really fucking good. I mean, like I, man, there's
No, I mean, she
just
crushed.
this bravado. I don't like just this. Oh man, this vibe that is crazy. And even like I felt the dramatic moments with her, and obviously there weren't like a ton, but even like the last moments when she's alone in her empty, house with the witness protection program, and when she's, escaping, there's like this sadness in her face that is like I bought her character so much. Like just
Mm,
being this revolutionary that's out to do this. This is her like mission in life. Like this is what she's committed herself to, and then sort of life happens, like humanity happens. She has a kid. She has this now husband who was a revolutionary as well. It's like, hey, we have a family, and her just not like it just I don't know that side of her, and like the moment right before like she left and seeing her face and she runs out. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I buy it. I think she absolutely should be nominated. Should like that just and we've talked about it, I think, with other actors too, but like that like facial acting shit where
mm,
there's so much you could tell from that. You don't
yeah.
even have to really say too much. You're just like, oh, you get exactly what they're feeling in that moment. And she's one of those actresses, and I feel like this is really gonna skyrocket her because man, like she didn't even just kill. Like I feel like she really like this is her like her just like welcoming to the because like I feel like we like I've heard of her before,
Yeah,
but I
I've heard
never
of her, but
saw.
yeah,
I think it was 1,000 something, shoot 1,000 I don't know, miles or something like that, 1,000 yards or something like
yeah.
that. Recently, and she had gotten award hype for that. I remember that Oscar race, like her name was there. I'm like, oh, Tiana Taylor. Like I never really recognized her.
Mhm.
This is her moment where she's announced she's here, and it's the same with Chase Infinity. I mean, these are two. I mean, they were also, performing for Regina Hall. I mean, Regina Hall's,
It was like,
an incredibly seasoned veteran who is also spectacular in this movie. I think she's not in it enough to like stay
she's
on
not to
people's
really shine.
minds,
Yeah, to really shine.
but
Yeah,
when she is in it, I think she's spectacular. Like I've heard people saying they want her nominated, and I don't think there was enough, but
there
also
wasn't.
like
Yeah,
I did think she killed when she was, especially there's the bathroom scene. Like again, that sort of just like how do I say it? Like that urgency and just
yeah,
like that, like her just being so like straight shooter, like, hey, we gotta go. I don't know. I thought the whole cast was fucking awesome. Everybody, the entire ensemble, even the Christmas Adventures or whatever, and the
yeah.
um Jim Downey, I think is his name, who
They
was
they
like,
they gave off the loser vibe really well.
oh, really well, and
Losers
also
in their
like,
basement vibe.
yeah, yeah, and just like, and I guess that's something we could talk about too. And I think this is one of my favorite parts of the movie is its portrayal of these men.
Yeah,
It's very much like in Licorice Pizza, the Chinese restaurant owner, which a lot of people were offended by when the movie came out. But I think the movie was trying to say, no, like this guy is fucking stupid. Like
yeah.
he's his ignorance, like we're laughing at.
How stupid it
And
is. Yeah,
right, I think a similar thing happens in this movie where like we're not going to make them these insanely scary, whatever,
Mm.
powerful beings. They're losers, which is what they are. Like
Yeah.
I think that just showing that side of it, like no, like they're talking about supremacy in a way that's like you're just like no, that doesn't even make sense. Like what you're saying is such loser shit. And I love that Paul did that. It's we're not going to make them these brilliant whatever. No, they're just losers.
Like insecure
Period.
losers. Yeah, it feels like I think like in the Peacemaker show, which you don't haven't watched that yet, right?
Mm-mm.
They do
Mm-mm.
a good job of that too, where it's like they just make them seem like absolute losers, which is awesome because I think there's a lot of times where they do show them in movies as like this scary thing, which like yeah, obviously it can be, but I think it's much more powerful just to make them look like morons. Because I think PTA did a great job of just being them of it seems like just this boys club that hangs out in like their mom's basement and just like whines to each other about
Yeah.
absolutely nothing that matters is really, really good. They did a great job there. I also want to mention, because we haven't talked about him yet, Leo Crush. But I mean, like, when does he
Yeah.
not? When is he not amazing? But I mean, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Specifically, the one two scenes that jump out to me is the whole like him trying to connect the phone. And it was all like it was like that one take looking shot where it goes all the way up through the store, through the apartment. He was just awesome. And that whole scene where he's talking to the I wouldn't say like a teleworker guy, but
Yeah, I
he's
know what you
he's
mean.
trying to get
Yeah.
the password. Um, and I also love the scene when he's in the car with Benicio, which we kind of touched on a little bit. But just the moment when he's talking about having to raise her as like a single dad and being like, yeah, I never knew how to take care of her hair. And it was just like such a simple thing, but he says it like twice, I
Yeah.
think.
Mhm.
Um, and so much emotion in it. And it's just like it's just peak Leo. Like when is he
Yeah.
not giving us stuff like this? Um,
Right.
and it's cool. It's cool to see him link up with PTA also. Like and
Yeah, that
being
was
put in
cool.
like and you know what? Even though Leo is the lead and the one all over the posters, like there were times, and I think we talked about this. I kind of was like, oh yeah, that's right. Leo's like in this movie because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
later they don't like always lean on him. They lean on they when they do lean on him, it's for quite a while. But when they get away from him too, it's for quite a while. Like they really pace out the amount that you see Leo, which is like kind of like a choice considering he is like the lead. Where like in Kills of the Flower Moon, it was a lot of Leo. A lot of Leo, which
Mm.
was again good. And I think anytime Leo is in a role, like Revenant, like that movie is just essentially just Leo on screen the entire runtime. But he's really like I would say like 60% he's on the screen for this. Because he's got the early stuff, but like later on stays a lot with Chasing Infinity, a lot with Sean Penn, and I think that's a testament to the film that you can have a guy like Leo in the movie, and your immediate thought, like when he comes back on screen, is like, oh yeah, he's in this, and that just shows like how
Yeah.
good the writing and like the other performers are doing. And I think I said this to you too, right when the movie ended. It was like his performance kind of felt like Rick Dalton in the trailer times 10, like
Mm.
that, like anger. I wouldn't say like anger, I guess, but like frustration, paranoia, whatever. That like
Yeah.
when Rick Dalton was like throwing shit around the trailer in Once Upon a Time really felt like that was like not his whole character, but that was like he leaned more into that
Yeah.
for this role, which was
Yeah.
really cool because I mean Rick Dalton was so much fun.
Yeah. This character felt like Rick Dalton combined with the dude, Big
Yeah,
Lebowski,
yeah,
combined with Ryan Gosling's character in The Nice Guys for me, where it's like there's
yeah,
this like clumsiness, but there's such a dry humor with them.
yeah,
And like especially Leo's character that like I laughed so much more than I thought I would with this movie. I mean, like I laugh like Licorice Pizza did make me laugh. Like I did like that movie, but like I wasn't like hooting and hollering. This shit had me. I was cracking my ass
yeah,
up. I was like, this is a really fucking funny movie. This almost feels like a comedy first, and I think that to me is Leo's sweet spot. Like, because like I've been a fan of him, but I'd never been like, this is my guy. Like, I
yeah,
wasn't a big Wolf of Wall Street guy. I wasn't really a big Revenant guy either.
yeah,
Um, but like, this might be my favorite performance of his because it just feels like there's, I don't know, I love his character so much, even though there isn't that much to latch onto in terms of like
yeah.
redeeming qualities.
Dude,
There's
he's
just
just a worried
like
dad, dude. He's just a worried
Ye
dad, which is
so that's
awesome.
what it is. It almost is
He's just a
like Liam
worried, caring
Neeson's
dad.
character in Taken,
Yeah,
but like
but like
without
he
the
sucks.
urgency
Yeah,
and the skill,
yeah,
and he's stoned. And I'm like, that's kind of works for me. That's kind of
yeah,
like really fucking awesome. And like, I love how they incorporate that stoned paranoia in the movie.
yeah,
Like, you could tell he was high, and I kind of fucking love that. Like, he's like,
yeah,
he has that moment where he's like, you're fine, you're fine. He's like, oh, I'm fucking paranoid.
yeah,
I'm fucking freaking out, man. And I'm like, dude, that's exactly what would fucking happen. And I
yeah,
love that, like, even after that, he's still like taking rips out of his dad pen and so
yeah,
still struggling. Like, this is like, I can't explain, but this movie is like, it's just so, like I said before, there's freeness to it. That's like, it's like this big high octane action movie,
mhm,
but it's also really funny and has almost like a free flowing basic confusedness about it. Like it has all
yeah,
these sort of elements to it, and when you mesh them together, it's something so different. Like this movie, it's hard to explain.
It's
I think
different,
that's
but
why, like,
it's familiar too in the best way. Like you said, it feels like it's like that early 2000s like
yeah,
vibe to it, where like when studios used to take like a great name in Hollywood and just give them a huge budget and be like, yeah, just go ball out. Like that's how we got so many awesome movies, and it
yeah.
really feels like this has been like I think shy of like what we've seen like Christopher Nolan do because he just gets a bag from Warner Brothers. Like I think shy of him, we haven't really seen a director like get a bag and use it really well in like a theatrical
Mhm.
wide release. Like Scorsese's been given stuff with like Kills of the Flower Moon and The Irishman, but that's all been like streaming kind of stuff. Even though Killers of the Flower Moon was in theaters, it's been like a very
Yeah, yeah,
streaming undertones to it where like people are
right.
just streaming. Where this feels like you got to go to the movies to watch one battle after another because it's just something like Oppenheimer felt that way where it was like you have
Yeah,
to go to the movies and watch it. So it's cool to see. And like I said, I feel like Nolan's kind of had that, but it's
yeah,
cool to see a guy like PTA actually get that budget for it because
yeah.
it paid off. And I think
Me
honestly,
too.
front runner, and I honestly don't think anything's going to change. Probably going to win Best Picture based on reception alone.
Yeah, I think right now
95
it's
Metascore.
definitely like the front runner. I still think Hamnet has a shot because like it's just it feels like one of those stories that
Yeah,
could win over a lot of people. And if it's as good as people are saying out of like Venice, then like I'll take the word for it. I also would keep an eye on Marty Supreme. Like
that's
this
going to
is
be
like a
good. That's going to be.
like
I think that's your top three right there.
yeah, right. Because like and sentimental value is in there too.
Yeah,
Because I think that could definitely be a winner if it hits the right notes. Like Marty Supreme is like a 3 hour long epic from the Safdie bro with Timothy Chalamet starring.
yeah.
I just think it's gonna work. Like I would be shocked if that movie comes out and flops. But it will get interesting. Like Hamnet and Marty Supreme and sentimental value and House of Dynamite and like
Yeah.
there's a lot of shit coming out. Like
It's
a
just going to be
lot.
hard, I think, to dethrone this one because of the
Yeah,
hype it's
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Right, which is and it was funny though because like a few even like a couple weeks ago before this movie came out, it was like not on a lot of people's like top five
Mhm.
of the you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was kind of like a weird like people didn't know what this was gonna
I
be,
don't think it was in our top
and
five when we were like at the
yeah,
beginning
no, I
of
don't think so.
talking.
I think it's
I was like,
because
yeah, I'm
it
excited, but
yeah, I was excited. There was a part of me that was a little bit worried about because the only thing we had heard about before is it's going to have some political commentary and it's
mm,
going to be very timely. And there was a part of me that was a little worried about like, okay, but like in what way? Because like we
yeah,
just had Eddington, which I really dug, but it didn't do very well performance wise because it's just no matter what side you're on, it's kind of not made for you.
yeah,
But it's also, but the irony of Eddington is made for all of us.
yeah.
That's the
That's like
thing that
literally the
sucks
whole
about
point.
it
That's the whole
is
point of the
like
movie.
right. And I think one battle after another is a little different, but it's similar deal where it's like there's all
Yeah.
this shit going on in the back. Like I think in one battle after another, it's almost like an inverse where like
Mm,
the timely stuff, like the things that we're seeing in the real world, they kind of take the background in one battle after another. Whereas I think in
yes.
Edmonton, it's actually the forefront. Whereas
That's
yeah,
like
one
the
battle
entire
was
plot
like
of Eddington.
right, and that's the crux of it. Whereas like one battle is like we have this story that's going on that is relevant. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Well, we also have immigrant detainment centers, and we have these things going on. And I'm like, okay, so it's not blinded. It's not putting the blinders on and be like, oh, there's nothing. There is no war in Boxing Say. Like, there's nothing going
Yeah.
on wrong in the world right now. We're good. It's like, no, there's some crazy shit going on, but I'm also going to tell my story, and we're going to have fun, doing it. And
Yeah,
you get that feel.
I think that's the key difference. And I think a good way to put it is like that you said that political commentary stuff, or like at least like when they touch on things that are going on in the real world right now, it kind of does take the back seat, even though it's stuff that like, and it's more so I think just because the revolutionaries are trying to like combat these issues.
Mm.
Where like in Eddington, again, that is literally the entire plot. Like I remember people in our theater were like reacting to like when someone would say something negative about like COVID mandates and someone would
Yeah.
then say something about something else, like another side of the argument. And we had people like reacting in the theater as if they were like like reliving COVID and being like, oh, he's
Yeah,
stupid, whatever, and it was like, wow, like people are actually, instead of like thinking about this and just viewing it as like, wow, this stuff happened, they thought that the movie was trying to make an argument, which it wasn't. And I think it just comes with the time, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Comes with how recent it is to like COVID and how like it's still very relevant to the current like climate.
yeah,
We're like in Eddington, much more just like this is just a fun blockbuster, and there are undertones of social problems in the background, but it's still like Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's still like a cool flick that's shot and edited really well and made really well with a great story about a father and a daughter, which always like pulls people in. And Sean Penn's a great villain. Just like way more, I think, accessible is probably the best way to put it.
yeah. Which is funny because it's like a 3 hour long PTA
Yeah.
movie, but it is more accessible. I
Yes.
agree. Like I think it yeah, Eddington is too much, especially being like set in 2020. Like
Yeah.
that's a really it's just a hard movie to sell,
Just a
and they
hard movie,
make
yeah.
it, the
And that's what
mask,
again, in the
you know.
whole poster, it was like hindsight 2020. That's like the whole thing.
Yeah. Which, look, I think probably Ari and this team probably knew that, like, okay, yeah, this isn't going to work too well the year that we release it, but we'll hope
In
that
five
it has a
years, it's going to
legacy.
be legit.
Well, right. I hope that people even, like, I don't think it's going to be like a classic or anything, because I also don't know if the quality is like up there with like Hereditary
Mm,
or, well, Midsummer's actually, that's a bit debatable. Like, Hereditary, I hold in like really high regard, but it is one that, like, the more I thought about it, the better it got. And it's the
yeah,
same with this one.
yeah.
Surely, like you just kind of not even like think about it, you just give it some time, and yeah, well, actually, that kind of makes because it's especially with Eddington, it's really hard to separate yourself from it because it's we're living it, and
Yeah.
we lived through 2020, so it's like it's hard to sort of like take yourself out of the movie and view it objectively because it's like we all have our own opinions and stuff like that and all this stuff. But once I sort of like got away from the movie and you just sort of like, give it some time, you're like, actually, that was really cool when they did that thing or that
Mm,
thing. And especially with Eddington, that was really the case for me with Eddington, where it really gave it time to breathe. And I was like, all
yeah.
right, yeah, this is actually a really good movie. And it's one that I think people are going to catch on to more as years go by.
100%.
Hopefully, hopefully we'll be in a better climate where that can happen, where
Yeah.
we can take the time to be like, what, that was actually really good. It got a lot of this shit accurate. And
Great Oscar season ahead of us.
yeah,
Super
dude.
stoked. Hopefully, we're going to keep doing these, and it should be fun.
Yeah,
Next
man.
up, we got
I'm stoked.
Anemone or whatever, and
Whatever the fuck's
we
going
have
on.
the Smasher Machine. So stay tuned
Yeah,
for
man.
Morning Popcorn. More to come.
Stoked. See you then, guys.